It's very important to have an amazing female cast.
90 million copies of this book have been sold. That means 90 million versions of Rand.
Imagination.
There was a lot of inspiration from Indian, fortresses and palaces.
If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen that I spent a few days in Prague recently. While fully underprepared for the randomly cold weather, I was ready to immerse myself in the world of the Wheel of Time. It's only like the biggest Prime Video show right now, y'all. You know, this one.
No one should have that much power.
Thanks to Prime Video, I was the only one from India given an all-access pass to visit two major Wheel of Time sets. The Two Rivers, where the story began in Season 1, and Tarvalon, where the story currently is in Season 2. I also spoke with 4 people instrumental in bringing Robert Jordan's epic fantasy book series to life, Season 2 directors Sana Hamri and Thomas Napper.
It's very important to have an amazing female cast.
Followed by production designer Andre Nekvasil, plus SFX supervisor, special effects, Andre Nierestek. Yes, दोनों का नाम Andre है.
There was a lot of inspiration from Indian, fortresses and palaces.
Being on the actual sets of this massive show was surreal, y'all. Like watching a stage play, a TV show, going to an amusement park while experiencing a beautiful flight of fancy all at once. ये देखो trailer एक बार और, and then let's get into it.
The last battle's coming.
The whole world will be ours.
Hi Thomas, hi Sana, nice to meet you. I saw the first 2 episodes,
Yes.
which are your episodes.
Yes.
So every single review that's going to come out of the show, professional review, is going to be the first 2 episodes because that's what everyone's going to be watching and writing about it. Does that make you nervous that this is exclusively your work that's being reviewed right away?
I'm excited to I feel as a director often you're sort of protecting and looking after the ideas in the script and making sure that those ideas are protected through the process of making and then editing the project. And it's really a process of sort of giving it back.
Yeah.
I always feel filmmaking is kind of a very privileged process where I feel quite honoured sometimes to be able to give stories back to an audience.
If I were you, I would fully stop eating and talking to people and just curl up in bed.
Then I made my way over to production designer Andre Nekvasil to ask him about the Indian influences in the architecture on the show. You know what I'm talking about, especially at the White Tower.
When we start designing the White Tower and Tarvalon, we were kind of combine, the idea was always a combine the different influences. So we were we don't want to be only this or only that. There was a lot of inspiration from Indian, fortresses and palaces, and that was really visible mostly in the stonework and carving in the stones. And some of these Indian ancient palaces were really a big inspiration for us to build in the White Tower. And it was much better for us that we start thinking about that. Okay, they build a part and they extend it, they build another part. So we were trying to kind of make that kind of additional, that they build a courtyard and next they build another walkway, another connection. So it's not a design one thing which was built immediately, but it was something which was built for centuries. So that's again something which you can see in the Indian palaces and fortresses, that you can see that fact that the house was growing up and extending into the scale of the big palaces, definitely. So yeah, there's a lot of influence from the Indian architecture, mostly in the patterns and the details there that you have there.
Everyone has a choice. And every choice has a consequence.
So on a set like this, how many cameras are rolling at the same time?
Well, it really depends. I think that we provide, for the directors and for myself when I'm directing, it depends on the scene.
Right.
There have been scenes where I have rolled 6 cameras. I'm used to direct concerts for artists, so I love doing 12 cameras, 20 cameras, so that's a natural thing to me. But over here it's really about capturing the action.
Right.
So sometimes you have a big sequence, but the cameras are not just up for a random reason. Then we have more intimate scenes with the characters. you really hone in on one camera, two cameras, you know? It's about what you're capturing and how you want to depict it. It's very important to make sure that the framing is authentic, that is the lighting is right, and sometimes too many cameras make it very difficult to capture with the lighting. So I always turn to the cinematographer in terms of like how many cameras are allowed. But we definitely provide as many cameras as our directors want.
Yes.
We've
got the budgets for it. We're a big show.
Well, it's not about the budget.
6 cameras, I'll give you 6.
It's not about adding more cameras is not a big cost thing. And nowadays, maybe back in the day it was, but not anymore. I think it's about how you want to capture something. If you want to do handheld and it's really messy and edgy, then maybe a few more cameras is interesting.
But like for a 360 set like this, like the one we're in right now, how do you control that? Like, you know, you have multiple cameras and you have multiple actors. This is not a 2-actor or a 3-actor show. This is a 500-actor show. So multiple actors, lead cast, supporting cast, extras. What is the biggest challenge to control a set like this?
Well, it's not about controlling a set. It's about facilitating the set. We have like a lot of production and crew people around us that kind of support. You have the assistant director. The AD is very important to keep things kind of in charge. And then we come in and we block the scene. So, you know, if it's a scene around the table, here in Tarvalon, you know, we will place how we want to place, and then you place the cameras like we have cameras here. So it's about coming in prep. We have the vision on how do I want to approach the scene? From whose perspective is the scene from? So then that is kind of like one of the process.
Protecting Rand, guiding him, that is the only thing that matters. You can't control him.
This is a very high pressure job to be the director of Wheel of Time, primarily because the fans are watching so closely. The people who've read the books, every single prop, every single costume, every bead around the neck is analyzed. Do you pick up from what the fans are writing about the show, and not just about the show, the books as well?
I think I have to give credit to the team around us. We have an amazing team of writers and producers who are the kind of gatekeepers of the authenticity of the books. The books have to be translated into the visual world. When you read a book, you have an idea of what Rand looks like, or what Perrin looks like, or how Tarvalon is. And that's your imagination engaging with the book and then creating those pictures for yourself. So everyone who reads the book, 90 million copies of this book have been sold. That means 90 million versions of Rand.
Imagination.
Because it's engaging your imagination. When we commit to one version of Rand or one version of Tarvalon, we can't hope to please everybody. It's impossible. But we can be authentic to the information we have from the books, and also the spirit of the books and the intention of the writer. So we're always trying to be authentic to those books because they are so beloved and because they're very, very good. You know, they're very detailed. They give you a lot of information. In fact, I would say Robert Jordan is almost the king of the fantasy genre because he is so detailed. He is so devoted to the worlds he creates. And so we're given so much before we come to set, before we engage with our scripts. We're given such rich texture and authentic, organic information about what this world is. Yeah.
अभी के लिए यहीं रुक जाते हैं. Let's save a little bit more of the set tour for tomorrow. ये देखो.
If you look at Moraine, she is in charge.
You see Rosamund, you know she's in charge.
Fight sequences are just, I believe, are amazing because you are very close to it, you know.
I love your husband. I'm amazed. I'm like, he has 14 books.